What's good, YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nika. So this is not really like a story time, but I really want to talk about some real serious issues here. Some daycare issues. This is actually a video I have been wanting to do, but I have been trying to postpone it because I really didn't put nobody on blast. I didn't want to, do a video about daycare because things happen. You know what I mean? Things happen. But I'm going to go ahead and lay it right down here, okay? I'm going to just post it here. So pretty much some issues that I'm having at daycare. We decided to move our kids from this particular daycare to a new daycare because, this was my first daycare experience ever. So I really didn't know what the outcome, what to expect. I didn't know. So I really didn't have high standards, but I wasn't expecting to have low standards. So pretty much my kids have been going to this daycare for about 3 months now. And, things was okay. They wasn't like, terrible, nothing like that. I don't think I'm not going to say think. I know they wasn't really mistreating my kids. I don't feel like they was mistreating my kids. My kids wasn't coming home beat up and bruised up or anything like that. So they wasn't mistreating my kids. They were actually very nice people and respectful people, but I guess the way the daycare was being run, it just wasn't the best. It wasn't like top tier quality. So pretty much, first thing first, the first complaint is, now, if you're running a daycare, I would expect you to have people who are not handicapped. I'm not trying to judge nobody. I'm not trying to shame nobody because, if it's a position where you are not capable or you're not fit, a lot of jobs will not hire you for that position because they're saying, okay, you're deemed liable for this company. You can't do the role, so we cannot hire you. Okay, that's what most jobs do, right? There's jobs I can't physically do, so of course they're not going to hire me. If my knees are broke, they're not going to hire me as a nurse, right? Okay, so what I'm trying to get to is this particular daycare has a lot of workers who don't seem like they're mentally there, who don't seem like they're physically there. There was one worker who she can't run after the kids. If you're working in a toddler room and the kids just decide they want to run out that room and run out the door and go down the street, can you catch them? No. You're physically dragging your leg across the floor to walk. I mean, you're physically disabled. You cannot physically do the work. And like I said, I'm not trying to talk about anybody, but these are issues in daycares that my kid is there. I know Josiah will run off right now. I'd literally be having some trouble running behind him sometimes because he will take off and jet. And you have workers here who are physically not capable of running after kids. So back to the mentally, challenging, individuals. Now, they had a worker that was working with my kids, and every time I go in there and I ask her, hey, are you feeding my kids? Are they eating? What are they eating? Can you notate what they're eating and write it down for me? So they're notating in the book, yeah, your kid is eating this jar food and such and such. And I'm like, jar food? What kind of jar food? I'm not even bringing you jar food. I'm not even bringing you any food that's in jars. So how are you labeling jar food when they're not eating no jar food? I mean, a jar is a jar with food in it, Use the correct words because I'm not giving you jar food. So they're labeling, they're eating jar food, and sometimes they may put in there, he ate a little bit, or he will not eat, or this and this and this. Okay, I understand that because Josiah is who he is. Sometimes he won't eat. Sometimes he will fuss and fight with you to eat. I understand it. So I agree with that. Okay, he didn't eat. Okay, cool. But don't say he didn't eat or he won't eat, or you notate in the book that he did eat and he did not eat. The reason I'm saying that is because, okay, their last day was on Friday. So when we picked them up, I asked them to return everything, such as if they had any food, any juice, any diapers, wipes, any water, any clothing, anything that they might have had. Please give it back to me. So she packed up everything. Now tell me why she handed me this. Do you see this? Why is this bag full of food? You get and also you see this. I mean, this is not jars. To me, jars is in glasses. Jar food, glass jars. That's the kind, This is, I mean, it's food, but it's not in a jar. This ain't really a jar to me. I mean, but if I'm wrong, let me know. Correct me. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I don't consider this to be jar food. But, because most jars got a lid. You could close the lid back. That's a jar. This ain't no jar. But anyway, you see this. I mean, you return this to me, and I'm bringing him food every single day. Now, if he wasn't eating, you need to say, when we do have 5 or 6 things of food because he will not eat. We try to feed him in the morning time for breakfast. He won't eat. We feed him at lunch. He might take one bite and we have to throw it away. Okay, I understand it. But this is showing me you're not feeding him. If you have, I didn't even count them. I don't even know how many that is. I didn't even count. That's like, what, maybe 10? I'm going to say jar food because that's what they're writing down. 10 jar foods, that you have returned to me. And then also my baby girl, I'm like, okay, are you feeding Nala? They're like, yeah, we're feeding her, we're feeding her. So I be giving you bibs. You return the bibs. They're clean. Don't have no stains on them. Her clothes are clean. Don't have no stains on them. And I'm like, okay, so she's been fed. But then again, you say, oh, we have 2 things of food in here for her. And it don't fail. But we have 2 things of food in here for her. But you're feeding her because I'm only bringing you 1 a day, for you to give her. Only feed her once, because I know she's new at this, so she's not going to be eating all that he's eating. And these little things is only 2 ounces. So I'm, even at home when we feed her, she might eat 2 or 3 bites, So I know she's not eating at all. So I understand if she's not eating. I do understand that. But if she's not eating, just say, well, she really don't seem to be eating as much. We try to feed her. She's not eating as much. Okay, let me know this. Don't document that you're feeding her and you're not feeding her. And document you feeding him and you're not feeding him. Like, this is a big issue to me because you're lying when you're documenting this stuff down. And I also told him to write this stuff down because we need to give it to the physical therapist and the people who's feeding him, his speech therapy people, occupational therapy, whoever's feeding him. He goes to all these different services. So we want all of these people to kind of know that he's eating, he's not eating, what's going on, stuff like that. But you're documenting he's eating and clearly he's not eating. So I'm just like, you know what? I've been praying that God opened up some doors to getting them into a better daycare. So we was able to find another daycare. We had a lot of people so far say this daycare is top tier. You know what I mean? So I'm praying that once we get them there, they are top tier. I'm praying that this daycare is a lot better than the current daycare we're at. And like I said, I don't mean to bash anybody or anything like that, but when you take your kids there, you want them to be in a safe atmosphere. You want the workers to be doing their job. You are there for the kids, not feed them when you get ready to feed them. And then he come home and he crying and screaming because he hungry. By the time he get home, he act like he's starving to death. That he ain't ate all day. So, of course, we try to feed him and stuff like that. He he's screaming. Sometimes he might actually sit down and let us feed him 4, 5, 6 ounces of food at a time because he act like he ain't had no food all day. Or he's screaming for a bottle or something like that. And sometimes I understand he might sleep over because he act like when he go to sleep, he don't want to wake up. So when he take his nap, he might want to sleep a little bit longer. So maybe that's why they won't feeding them. I'm trying to find a reason to justify why they're not feeding them versus me just straight out bashing the daycare center. So I know Josiah. So I know some of the things I agree with. I be like, okay, I understand. I understand. I understand. But for him to come home with all this food and then they keep on saying, oh, he need diapers, he need wipes, he need jug water. Now, why in the world when I went there, I sat there and asked the lady, can you please show me how much, food they have left or where their diapers and wipes at or their jug water? Do they have any left? So every time she go to the chef to show me this, he got jugs of water in there. They still keep telling me he need more water. They keep saying he need diapers, he need wipes. And I'm steady bringing diapers and wipes, packs and packs and packs of diapers and wipes. But yet again, he got some stashed underneath the cabinet in buckets and stuff like that. But y'all didn't look under there before y'all keep saying he need more and more and more. And then y'all say, well, now I need diapers and wipes. And then I'm steady bringing her packs. Like, look. If y'all having the same type of issues at y'all daycare, please comment below because I wants to know. I want to know, what do you think is acceptable and what's not acceptable, because this is crazy. I pray that the daycare they're moving to definitely have better standard, better quality. And also one thing too, I feel like it's like, I don't even know the word to use. It's so unprofessional for the staff workers to go back to the owner of the business when I make a comment, and it won't even really a negative comment. Well, it might have been a negative comment, because I did make a comment and I said, I asked one of the workers that if you want to take your kid out of daycare, do y'all have a policy? What's the time frame, to let you guys know? So of course, when I asked that question, it went around the whole daycare center. So then they went back to the owner and was like, yeah, she called me talking about multiple people came back to me and said that, you inquired or asked them about, what's the time frame to take your kid out, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And then she made a comment, well, all you have to do is call me or talk to me. And it's not that I'm annoyed with you. B, I will cuss you out. And I'm up here trying to be professional about this. And I'm like, you wouldn't have ever used the word annoyed unless you were annoyed about the situation. And I'm up here like, ma'am, your staff is obviously telling you some stories, because the way you're explaining it to me is not the way it went down. I did go in there and I did ask one of the teachers, hey, do you know the time frames if you want to take your kids out? What's the time frame to, do that? Do you know anything about it? She said, oh, no, I don't know. Ask her. And I asked the lady that was behind me, because she was standing there all in my damn face. So I asked her, and I didn't even know she was there. The reason I didn't know she was there is because her car wasn't outside. So I assumed she wasn't there. I assumed. That was me, my fault. I assumed she wasn't working because I didn't see her car. But I guess she was working. So they wanted me to go to her because she's kind of like the backup source to handle things like this. Okay, so I didn't go to her. So long story short, I found out from her, okay, it's 2 weeks, 10 days, and then you could take your kid out. Okay, cool. So I was just like, all right, thank you. And then, like I said, she called and was talking about, yeah, multiple people came up to me telling me that. And then you mentioned that I'm never here. Okay, you're the owner of the business. I don't ever see the lady there. Never. I don't never see the worker there. I don't never see her there. So I'm just like, this is your company, your business. You're the owner. Mm, do you ever come to work? Do you supervise your workers, your staff? Do you know what's going on? I call your cell phone and you sound like you in the bed asleep. And I text your cell phone, you don't reply back. But then again, you want me to come to you and talk to you, but I can't never get a hold of you. And then also, when you finally do show up at your job, you come and you try to be friendly with Josiah, and he's screaming and yelling like he don't know who the hell you are. Like, who is this lady? I don't recognize her. And he's screaming for the top of his lungs. But yet again, you're the owner. He don't know you. I can't never find you. I don't never see you when I come. When I drop my kids off in the morning. When I do in the afternoon, I don't see you. But yet, again, this is your business. But I don't know nothing about you. But you want me to come to you when we have issues. Yeah. So, I'm just like, my first daycare experience, by far, not the best. Overall, Josiah has progressed a lot because he's been out of the house and at a daycare center with other kids. So he has progressed. Yes, thank you, daycare center. He has progressed due to you. But outside of the other issues, thank you, daycare. I appreciate you for opening my eyes to seeing what can happen at a daycare. And I'm praying that God open up more doors for me financially so that I can have other ways or other places to send him, that he won't have to go to daycares. And if he do go to daycares, I want them to be better daycare centers. And also, I just want him to, I want him to be around kids his age. I want him to be able to develop more, mentally and physically develop more, because he's a little bit still delayed. But I love my baby so much. I love both my kids so much. And I still appreciate the daycare center for accepting us to even be able to go to this daycare. I do. And like I say, I apologize if it sounds like, a bad session here. I'm not trying to bash nobody, but it's just things that people need to know about daycare centers, okay? It's not always, shining stars. So if you guys have any issues, please comment down below because I want to know. Please comment, respond, like, subscribe to my video, okay? Because I want to know. But I thank you guys for sitting here listening to my rant about my daycare situations, okay? My daycare issues. Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you. Continue to show your support as well, okay?